Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to Train Sim World 3, and today back in the BR187. I've been wanting to jump back in the 187 for such a long time. It had a few issues in TSW2, but it's been taken away, it's been reworked. Hopefully everything that didn't work quite correctly the first time around has now been fixed. So this has been made available just today in TSW3 for PlayStation. Other platforms had access to it, I believe, last week, but there is a staggered rollout of DLC for the PlayStation. So this has come today. I'm going to run a service on Tharanta ramp, so we're going from Freiburg, Sachs to Dresden, Fredrikstad. I think it's about 30 kilometers. So let's just get into it, and then we'll have a talk about it. So first of all, let's activate the cab by pressing this button on the back wall. We'll put the signal lights into auto. So with this one, and some of the German locos, you have a headlight setting. With this one, you don't. So if you put it in auto, that will cover it. Let's go along and find the safety systems, which are at this end of the loco. So let's have CIFA, of course, PZB. We'll put LZB on, but I'm not entirely sure that LZB is in use, but we'll find out. This is a freight train, so LZB is very high speed, so I don't think so. We'll put a bit of brake on because we are rolling actually there. Okay, so let's put the reverser in forward. We want the headlights on. We'll put those to bright. Let's just double check. So the headlights are not on. What we need to do is we need to go into the screen and number 8 on the screen and just enter. So you can see here we've got number 2 end and number 1 end. We are actually in number 1 end, so we want the white lights at the front. So to do that, let's choose number 1 end and then choose the white lights. So you can see it's updated at the number 1 end. Then let's pick number 2 and we want the tail lights. So if I press return on there, and we have a look outside, there we go. So we got the headlights. So this is the 187. It's a bit of a beast, honestly. It's such a different loco to the rest of the German freight locos as well. I absolutely love it. But enough talk. We need to be getting going. So
RFB,
shall we put the
RFB,
AFB on?
RFB.
We'll set that to 40. We'll take the brakes off and we'll put in some power and we'll get underway. So we are using PZB and we're in mode U, which is the heavy freight. So you see we are set to 55 there in the hood should we get a 1000 Hertz magnet. So it's a little bit different to passenger. Let's put some more power in. It's a heavy old train, so we are moving now. Let's take a look outside. Let's have some horn. It just seemed a bit quiet, doesn't it, the horn? It's a lovely looking thing, it really is a beast. PZB is safe to be released, so let's do that. And I do think for any of you guys that are learning PZB, now's a good time to do it because you've got these PZB tips up in the top right corner now, which will explain to you when to do certain actions with the PZB, which is quite nice. That should make it a little bit easier for you to pick it up. Increase the AFB to 60 for now, but this is a heavy train, we do need to be ready to stop, of course. In fact we are now, so let me bring that down slightly. So we got 13 kilometres to Dresden Allstadt, GBF, track 7. Let's get back in the cab.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So we've got a 90 coming up. We'll put some more power in actually, because we've got a... Looks like a bit of a climb to the naked eye, doesn't it? There we go. We're now on a climb. It's actually flat again. To the naked eye, it looks to me as if we're going uphill. Maybe it's to do with the shadows. By the way, we've got dynamic weather on. So the dynamic weather is set to light clouds as we were leaving. So we'll see if we get any changes in weather along the way. Hopefully we will. So we need to stay under 55 now. We've got a 1000 hertz magnet. We've got 23 seconds to get down to that, but we're under it anyway, so we're okay. So, plenty of opportunity for screenshots. This actually as well is the first time I played Tharanta Ramp in TSW3. It wasn't available long in TSW2, but it became quite quickly one of my favourite routes. Because it has a bit of everything, and of course we got the tilting trains on this route, which is really nice, the 612. So these German routes just keep getting better and better. Safe to release the PZB, so let's release it. So we can speed up a little bit. I don't want to go too fast because it is difficult to slow down. Let's go up to the 70. We'll take the power up now. So far, the safety systems are all behaving, the AFB is behaving. It sounds pretty good. So I think there's a lot to like with this one. So if you like your German freight routes and your German freight timetable, have a look at getting the 187. Now this of course isn't a DTG created loco. This one is Skyhook Games, who also created... Oh, look at that! People across the bridge, that's a nice touch. This is Skyhook Games, who also made Horseshoe Curve, Cane Creek. So Skyhook have had plenty of experience now with Train Sim World, and as I said, it did have some issues when it released, but hopefully that's all behind us now and we can enjoy this one. So we've still got 27 to go, we've got a 90 coming up. So it feels like you're driving something very, very heavy as well.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Let's increase the speed. So just looking at the sky, we did start with light clouds. Staying that way for now, but we've still got some distance to go.
Zugbeeinflussung.
We also have a different set of announcers, let's call them, on this one. Yet another CIFA lady. All the locals seem to have various different implementations of that, don't they? Different voices. I think this is a new one. I don't think I recognise this voice from any of the other German locals or trains we've got so far. There's a Dosto coming the other way. So this is a timetabled service that is running on Tharanta Ramp. So I don't quite know yet whether the 187 has been uncoupled from its native route. Which I think was Munich-Augsburg. I think it was Munich-Augsburg. I could be wrong. It was either linked to Munich-Augsburg or the Köln route, but I'm thinking Munich-Augsburg. However, Dovetail have said that they'll be uncoupling the local DLCs from requiring the route, and that's because now the tutorials are all in the training centre, whereas before the tutorials were all in the route that the DLC was made for, so that's good. So I don't know if that is quite ready yet. You would need to just double check, but you may be able to pick this loco up without having the route that you would have needed in TSW2, so that's one of the benefits of TSW3. And this is, as I say, this is a timetabled service. There's quite a number of timetabled services. It's possibly substituting rather than having its own timetable, but still there are plenty of services that you can use the 1874 on this route and on the other routes as well. And of course you've got Scenario Planner, which pretty much means you can run it wherever you like if you create the scenario. I'm going to put it up to 100. We can have a quick look at the map. You can see where we're going. We have got CIFA, of course, in the background. Quite a windy route, isn't it, this one? And it's perfect for those tilting trains. It really is. This has rapidly become one of my favourite German routes that we've got in the game. Just for the sheer variety, I think. Let's take a look outside.
Zugbeeinflussung.
We have a 90 coming up, so I am going to reduce the AFB already down to 90. There's the free cam view, always quite nice. So I'm going to be running this in a live stream as well, this coming Wednesday. So we'll look at this in a bit more depth. We'll run a couple of services with it. Just wanted to take a quick initial look today and make sure it was running okay. Seems to be fine so far. But you guys let me know what you think. Is this a loco you already owned? in TSW2? Or are you in fact going to pick it up? I'd be interested to know. Let me know down below what you think.
Zugbeeinflussung.
I would recommend it. You can tell I would recommend it. I do like freight runs. Freight runs tend to be the longer services, don't they? So if you fancy a change from the commuter stuff, you can always jump in one of the freight services. And Tharanta Ramp, actually, running it on Tharanta Ramp does give you the option to do quite a nice little run. And you've got a good mix on this route of town versus countryside. So it's an interesting run as well. Still 20 kilometres to go. Got the throttle on 100%. AFB is just controlling the speed for us. Speaking just personally on the PS5, once all the TSW2 DLC is available on the PS5, it's going to be great to just dip into to whichever routes I want to dip into. It's going to be great just to do that. The 64 gig limit has been there now for quite some time. And I just need to slow down actually because we're coming up to an 80, and I'm assuming because we're downhill and we're very heavy, it's not braking very well. Let's get it down. So on PlayStation, the DLCs, as I mentioned at the beginning, they're being released over a period of 3 weeks. Today is actually week 2. So the 187 has arrived in today's pack, if you will. And let me just reset the power. And next week the final set will arrive. Then we just need the fix implementing for the 64 gig limit, and we should be in business. So then the full suite will be available to PlayStation players, PlayStation 5 players, and it's going to be great just to go and look at everything and just dip in some routes that, you know, I've not personally played for, or not played much in the last year because of the limit. I'm just looking forward to exploring them, but exploring them with the new weather system in TSW3. Because that so far has made a massive difference. It really has. Those thunderstorms, some of those thunderstorms on Cajon Pass, if you didn't see the live stream last week on Cajon Pass, go and check that out. It was a couple of hours, but we started off at sunset, and as we carried along, got darker, it started raining, then the storm kicked in, and it really felt to me like I was in a storm. That was the main thing. The immersion was something else. It really was, and I really enjoyed it. I went back and I actually watched it back because I enjoyed it that much. So looking forward to getting some of the old routes running again with those improvements. And there's a bit of logging going on there. I actually think that is the mastery tile. I think that is, whoops. That's the tile you get in Mastery, if you complete the Mastery for this route. It's the first time I've seen that. It's quite nice. So, on some of these gradients, it appears the The AFB struggles to control the train.
Zugbeeinflussung.
And we need to quickly get down to 55. Because we've just had the 1000 Hz magnet. Let's see if we can get down to 55 within the time limit. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. There we go. Let's bring the AFB down to 55. In fact, let's bring it to 50. It's trying its best to hold us. It says it's safe to release, so we'll release it.
Zugbeeinflussung.
It's quite a steep downhill, isn't it, on Tharanta ramp? 2.7% just there in one place. So it is very steep.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So, you know, for a train of this weight, let's just check. Let's check what weight we are. We are 941 tons, nearly 942 tons. So that is quite a lot of weight. You can see there that the in the hood, the brake is trying to brake us. Now, AFB might not always be suitable for every run that you do. In fact, you know, probably I would say, you know, it's not really that recommended for freight runs because of the weight.
Zugbeeinflussung.
If you've got a fairly flat run, then yeah, you can probably do it. But you're going to have to, with this kind of run, you're going to have to top it up with a little bit of brake, which is what we're doing right now. We're just coming onto the flat. And we've got a 90 coming up, so I'm going to raise the AFB a little bit. I'll put some power in.
Zugbeeinflussung.
But managing your speed, managing the braking is always one of the main challenges, isn't it? In TSW. And we are rapidly approaching that 70. And we're on a 2.5% downhill again, so you can see it's very up and down. And every train drives differently, doesn't it?
Zugbeeinflussung.
This one, actually, this 187 does react very well to the controls, I will say that. But you certainly need to keep alert. We'll take the brake off, because now we've hit that 90, but we do have a 60 coming up. So, I would say we need to be at the 60 now. It's only 2 kilometers away.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Because you could easily get into a runaway situation, can't you, with a 2.5% down gradient. It'd be very, very easy to do that. You see the AFB is on now. It's holding at 72. But we've actually set 60. It's not going down to 60 yet, but it's very, very slowly coming down. This will be the 60 board in front that we'll need to acknowledge. And
Zugbeeinflussung.
we now need to be down to 55, so let's do that. So the good thing now with those PZB tips, you see there in the top right, the 1000 hertz section of that HUD, the yellow is actually reducing in the bar, which is your time limit to get down to 55.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So it's actually going to tell you when you run out of time and you're going to get emergency braked, which is very, very good. It could be cheating, but you know, when you're learning PZB, it's difficult enough. So they've obviously sat there and thought long and hard about that, and I'm all for it. I really am, because there's a lot of players, you know, a little bit frightened to run PZB because they don't want to be emergency braked all the time. But I've said it before that it's such enjoyable. You know, once you do learn it, you get so much out of the DLCs that you've already had for so long. You get so much extra that you know, anything that they can do to make it easier to pick PZB up has got to be a plus. And you don't have to have those tips on. You can turn those tips on, off. I've left them on because I was just interested to see all the new features in TSW3, and I think that is a really, really good thing for new players. And a reminder for more experienced players like me. I would say I'm pretty experienced, having played it now for several years. So it's a good reminder, and you can check your forum and make sure that you're doing things right, basically. Because we obviously want more people to get into this hobby. So the more the merrier. And any such little improvements to the HUD like that can only be welcomed in my eyes. So back to this trip, and we've got 11 kilometers left until we reach Dresden.
Zugbeeinflussung.
And we can speed up a little. You've always just to keep your eye on that 55, because if you do get a 1000 hertz magnet, you have to, as you've seen, you have to quickly get down to the 55. So that's the only thing to keep in mind when you're running freight.
Zugbeeinflussung.
That is when you're running freight in mode U. So you can, some freight that's not as heavy, that's got good braking, will be mode M. So with mode M, you just need to reduce to 70 once you get one of those restrictions. And of course mode O, which is for passenger and some freight, is the 85, which is the thing you will see most in Train Sim World.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So there's the three modes. We are in mode U, which is the most restrictive currently. Good to practice all of them because they all have different speeds for different, you know, different types of restriction. So 9.3 to go. It does look great, doesn't it? It looks like a beast, it drives like a beast, and I'm really, really pleased it appears to be fixed, because this was, when this was announced, this was very popular. This was another one of those German locos that the player base wanted to see for such a long time. And then it came out and it had some issues, and it was a shame really. But now it looks as if it's behaving itself. So I think you're going to see a lot of people using this on YouTube and other places.
Seefahrt. Zugbeeinflussung.
I think speed-wise we're just about right. We'll just cruise in now for this 7.5 kilometres. So I mean about this route though, we've come through a big section of countryside and now we're starting to come into the Dresden area. Things start to build up again. I do love this route. The weather's behaved itself. The light cloud has still remained. It might actually be a little bit less than when we set off. But it's staying clear, which is nice when I wanted to show you the 187. And I must take another screenshot there.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So just start to get nearer. Need to keep a close eye on the trackside signs and signals.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Start to see a few more passenger services now. We're getting towards Dresden as well.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Got a 70 coming up, so let's start dropping the speed quite early. See, AFB is doing its job there. On the flat, the AFB is good, but as I said earlier, with the weight and the gradients you've got, it's not always ideal for a freight train. So just keep that in mind. You may have to do, if you put the AFB on, you may have to do a little bit more work than you would normally with AFB switched on. Don't rely on it to completely slow you down as fast as you would normally expect. Just keep one eye on your speeds. So here's the warning board for the 70, which we need to acknowledge.
Zugbeeinflussung.
And you can see now that it is asking us to get down to the 55, so let's do that. As quickly and as safely as possible. There we go.
Zugbeeinflussung.
I'll set the AFB to 55 just for now. Still 3 kilometers. Safe to release, so let's release the PZB actually. But I think we will still just trickle in now to Dresden for this 3 kilometers. 3 kilometers isn't far at all, is it really?
Zugbeeinflussung.
So we will be driving the 187 across several of the German routes. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, you'd be more than welcome. It'd be great to see you. So we will be running the first live stream with the 187 this Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll probably run something a little bit longer and at speed. But as a first look back at the 187 and the first look in TSW3, this has been quite an enjoyable run, so I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up as well, because that really helps me. Let's acknowledge that. There's a 55 again. We can see Dresden now on the horizon there. And that's what happens when you come out of the cab. We've got a 40 coming up, and there must have been a 40 board, signal board, that I didn't see because we were outside the cab. That's the only problem with running PZB and going outside the cab, but that's absolutely fine. We can reset from that. So let's just release. Let's go to the 40 there itself, and let's just make sure the brakes are released. Brake pressure's coming up. So we might need to wait a few seconds just for the brakes to come off. There's the power now kicking in, so I'll let the train take the weight. And we're moving again. So we're restricted now, which is fine. We're restricted to 45, but that's not a problem. We're coming into Dresden now. So yeah, there would have been a board for the upcoming 40, which we missed because I was outside the cab. That's just the way it works. You stay in the cab for extended periods, and then you miss one. But it's fine. That's part of driving, isn't it? You know, don't worry about getting an emergency brake, as long as you can recover from it. And that's the main thing. Alright, so we are about to come into track 7. "900 meters to the red." Hopefully the objective marker is way before that.
Beeinflussung.
400. You can see the red's coming up now, so let's just start to slow it down. We are in a very slight downhill gradient approaching this red. There's the 500 Hertz magnet. So again, it's quite good. It tells you the speed you need to stay below, which is good. 100 meters. Let's put the final brakes in right now. And there we are. And that is our run on Thrantaramp in the new BR, well, the new updated BR 187, which has just been ported over from TSW2 to TSW3. So hope you enjoyed it. As I said, if you would subscribe to the channel, I would be very, very grateful. It's free, but it helps me out a real lot. And give me a thumbs up. Join me for the live stream on Wednesday, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.